We're back in our strawberry moon, our, what is it? We have Sagittarian moon.
It's the full moon in Sagittarius, also known as the strawberry moon.
In Gemini. And let me tell you.
Season, yeah.
So we have fire and we have air, but we have the speaking energy. So we have a lot to say, and we're on fire over here in LA. Everybody is like,
yeah, it's very intense in LA right now.
Yeah. But you know, it's interesting where we live, everybody's pretty calm and just going about their business, but we know what's happening and we can feel what's happening.
Yeah.
So we just want to let you guys know that we're okay. However, we are sending tons and tons and tons of love and light energy. All the light workers are on working overtime right now.
Absolutely.
And we are just encircling Los Angeles and all the entire immigrant situation. And we're just, I would suggest all of us just jump right in and just send energy throughout this whole broadcast, just send energy to our lovely little state of California.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. This is our lovely Erika Merriweather,
Hello.
Our astrologer extraordinaire. And I am Lady O, and I am your intuitive empath. And tonight, we're going to be taking your questions. Yeah. Our inner circle members are going to get first dibs, of course. But we are going to be taking any questions regarding astrology.
Right.
And it can be personal, and Erika will let you know exactly what you have to give her in order for her to do that for you. And then for me, you can ask any questions regarding anything to do with your exterior world, your sensitivities, your nervous system, like all of your bells and whistles of what makes you tick. And if you're kind of clunking along and having a hard time, or you need some reboot, some juice, some energy, some new like spice in your life, I will do my best to upgrade you, help you to see life differently so that you can have a better experience. And by the way, for those of you who are new, I am a life coach. For over 20 years, I was a trauma life coach, and now I work side by side with Riz, and I can't talk tonight. I'm also a shaman for 15 years, for those of you who do not know me.
Yes.
So that being said,
yes,
we are settling in to our cozy little nook. How do you guys like our cozy little nook?
Our new nook that we have going today.
So tell me who and what is going on.
Yeah, so we have a lot of some of our favorite people in the chat tonight. We've got Nancy S. We have Paul, Carla, Vargas Fuster.
Nice.
Amy Harris, Patricia Sullivan.
Wonderful.
Rogue is here.
Yay.
Kathy.
Yay.
Christine is here. Aw, it's so fun.
I don't even need my glasses tonight because Erika is taking over the wheel. She is going to do all the live chats for me.
That's right.
Okay, so does anybody, you want to start off with, well, first of all, anybody have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box now. And then as far as Erika goes, maybe we can just jump right into like how you're feeling about the Gemini portion of things, because I know you have a lot to say about Gemini.
I do.
So tell me what you know about Gemini.
You know, I know a lot about Gemini, having been raised by one. And with multiple Gemini grandmothers, I spent a lot of time with Geminis growing up. I think Geminis sometimes get a bad rap of being, you know, the evil twin and the good twin. Yeah. Which it's not always fair. Geminis, they do have these different sides of themselves, though. And I think it's the part of them that's very internal, because they're always thinking. Their minds move very, very quickly. So they process a lot of things internally. And by the time it comes out, sometimes when the evil twin comes out, because that happens if a Gemini is just holding a lot of things in for too long. Because I look at them as they're like a satellite dish or an antenna, and they're all are a big receiver. So they're always noticing everything and processing it and assessing it. So they have to kind of always speak. Most Geminis are very, very talkative, because that's really what they came here to do, is to communicate.
And so how do they get affected by the Sagittarian moon? How does that
well,
enhance?
Sagittarius gives them a lot of firepower. Sagittarius is the fire sign. And they're opposites. So Gemini is the teacher, the communicator, the speaker. Sagittarius is the scholar, the student, the one who's exploring and kind of taking things in more. So for a Gemini on the Sagittarius full moon, they may actually be a little quieter and more introspective and really be kind of learning and assessing. But for other people on a Sagittarius full moon in Gemini season, they're going to have a lot to say. So it gives you that initiative and that firepower and direction that you may have a lot of realizations, revelations, aha moments where you're like, wow, this is what I want.
Right.
This is who I am.
Well, since you are kind of in control of the chats tonight, a couple little tips I'll give you, because I have been the one doing it.
I know. It's my first time doing it
from this angle, right? So what I've learned to do, and I'm not very good at it, you guys, at all, but I try to keep my sound bites shorter so I can check in with everybody more currently, so I can keep the dialogue going. So let me know. She's just kind of going in the deep end right now.
So we have lots. We have a couple people starting to ask questions and say things.
Okay.
Jean-Michel says, Libra sun here with an Aries moon. Would you say that is a good thing?
Well, can I just say about Libras really quick?
Yeah, jump in.
Just from what, and I'm not an astrologer. This is just from my experience. So my dad was a Libra, and I was just thinking about him right before the show, interestingly enough. And I was like, you know, he was a romantic. Wow. I never thought of it that way, but there were some songs that were playing from his day. There was like blues rock he liked to listen to, like Clarence Clearwater Revival and things like that. And I was just listening to that before the show. And I remember how my dad, he used to reminisce, and the way he used to talk about his job and work. And I was just like this little impressionable kid. And it was like he was always telling like a tale. It was like his stories were so otherworldly. They were kind of like romantic. They were very, even if it was like about work, but the way he would say it, not romantic like you're on a date, like romantic with love. I'm saying romantic
like nostalgic.
Nostalgic, like a novel.
A
like, yeah, he was always very like, there was a lot of, it's like his imagination.
He was a storyteller in a lot of ways.
There you go. That's exactly. And I was thinking about that. How funny enough, I must be psychic. I was thinking about that before the show. I was like, wow, I never looked at my dad as a Libra as being somebody who was so much in his storytelling and in the love that he had for like the adventures. So I'll give you an example. So let's say he would take a road trip, and on the road trip, like the way he would tell stories while we're driving, and my cousin would drive with us, like he was my age and we'd be in the back seat, and he would tell us stories that we thought we were literally going into like other worlds and other dimensions, and it would be dark at night, and then the moon would come out, and the way he would take us into these worlds. And I realized, I was like, wow, I think that could be one of the Libra's talents, is to be able to kind of go off planet and actually go into that otherworldliness in their storytelling and in the way they see life. Now, in a negative, there can be a little bit of like maybe not grounded enough. What do you think?
Yeah, I think when Libras get in that nostalgic or the sadness part, when they're not grounded, I think that comes from, they have this really strong desire to have harmony and be in balance. So it's a big part of the Libra surrender, is to understand that like sometimes things have to be out of balance in order for things to get back into balance.
So are they always looking for like what's wrong, or what do you mean by off balance? Like their sign is very, they value consistency. They value happiness. Like all signs value happiness, but they like things to be perfect. It is kind of, they're the sign after Virgo. Oh, so
it's an extension of that idealization.
There you go. The idealization. That is what I was trying to say.
Yes.
This ideal, but the ideal may not even be a practical ideal on planet Earth. It could be like an ideal that does not exist here. Because that's the feeling I used to get from him, was like I used to call him the spaceman. Because
because they're trying to, that's part of the beauty of the sign, is that they're trying to make this ideal happen. They're very focused on how can I make things better. Similar Virgo energy, they're very similar.
So the artists, they're poets.
Yes.
They're
they always want to make things more beautiful.
Right.
Yeah. But when it's not.
But when it's not, what? Do they turn on themselves? What happens?
Yeah, they get sad.
They
because
get sad?
can feel, if they go into blame, I mean, the
Right.
root of that is blame.
My dad did a lot of that. Yeah.
And then they feel like a victim. But
oh, yeah. So that was like his other big major area is he would be, I mean, I felt as a little kid, like I felt sorry for him all the time. And I was like, why do I feel sorry for my dad all the time? And it was because he just was, there was a lot of like woes. So he would have these extremes. And I'm just using him as a template because I'm sure like everybody has different configurations. And I don't know what his rising and his moon is.
Right.
But it's the only Libra that I was really intimately involved with, you know, as my dad. So I just remembered that his extremes, and not like bipolar extremes, but his extremes would be, he will take you to the moon and take you to this most awesome fantasy world just with his imagination and his storytelling, and you would get sucked into it like, yes. And then when it's not good, it would be like you're going into the throes of the darkest levels of hell. And then he would be in his depression and sadness, and I would be like, oh my God, what do I do? Like, how do I help him? And it was like I felt like I couldn't help him, but that was a different time back then, you know, when we didn't have the same resources as we do now. And but I've always wanted to talk about my dad and tell my Libra story. I've never actually said it, so thank you guys for humoring me. So yes, now his question was
he wanted to know about his,
because he has the
he's
Aries.
an Aries moon with a Libra sun.
So what does that look like?
He said, "Yup," in response.
Yup.
To,
okay, so what does that
funny.
look like with the Aries?
The Aries moon on the positive side can actually be really motivating, because the moon sign, that's your emotions. So that gives him some firepower and some direction that can spur him into action, where normally a Libra may get sad and wallow and get stuck. He'll like do things to change it.
So he gets kicked in gear.
Yes.
So he doesn't wallow as much.
Not as much, no. But the Aries moon also can be very impulsive, and again, it's a fire moon, so you can get mad. And
so does that
very quickly to things.
Kind of fall in love hard and fast? Because the Aries is also very like innocent.
He would very much be prone to like romantic idealization of someone like really quickly, and then like really dive into it, but it could also get really disappointed and exit pretty quickly.
Because the feeling I get is that there's not a lot of checking in first to see if this is a good match.
This is not an analytic. Neither one of those signs are very analytical.
Oh my gosh!
It's basically like emotion and passion.
Oh boy.
I'm either very passionate and matter of like sad and dreamy.
My God.
But I'd be curious, Jean-Michel, if you know your rising sign, maybe that tempers things a bit.
Yeah, right. Because the rising makes all the difference. Because like if it's like a Pisces or even a Scorpio or a Capricorn,
well, that's adding more emotion. So it would be a little.
So we're gonna find out how really wild you are. So why don't you tell us your rising? Who else wants to get in the hot seat? Anybody else is interested?
Yeah, we have quite a queue.
Okay.
So this is more,
and make sure you get our inner circle members first. Does it have like?
If you guys actually could tell me in the chat if you're an inner circle. Is that what the crown means?
Yeah, a little icon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little crown icon.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I am getting inner circle people.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Miss Parav. And if you guys wouldn't mind putting your name, if your handle is not your name, if you could put your name in your question.
Okay.
Why do I only have a deep connection with a couple of people? Am I a super new soul? Another legit psychic told me this is most likely my last life reincarnating. And then she said, And she also wants to know what's the snacky snack bowl on the table.
These are my sesame crunchies.
They're so addictive.
So listen, ASMR people, and my people that are very sensitive to sound that loves this, listen. Because I love to crunch.
Riz is on
Riz,
the chat.
You're not supposed to be on the chat.
He's on the chat.
He's going to start harassing us.
I'm Leo with Scorpio rising. I mean Scorpio moon. Sorry, but Riz, you're posting as psychic. He signed into like the same account. So then if I'm writing and Riz is writing at the same time,
now nobody knows who Erika is.
Well, now he's gonna do it even more.
Oh no! Now he's gonna really mess it up.
Miss Paravard, her name is Parizad.
Yeah,
Parizad. I like that name. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. But her question, besides our snacks, were about, if this is she a new soul? Is this her last lifetime? And why does she only really connect to like a small group of people?
Well, I have something to say about that. First of all, I didn't believe this when I was younger, but in high school, they tell you when you get to 30s, 40s, 50s, you become more and more selective. Now, not everybody's like that, but especially nowadays with everybody having different changing, their belief systems are constantly changing and people are really changing right now. There's a lot of transformation happening on the planet. I just found myself in a similar situation where I became more selective and I became more discerning, and I just started to be more like, I was paying more like closer attention to who is in my life that I felt was aligned with my beliefs and I felt that I was comfortable with, like, can I relax around these people? Like, can I just be myself? Or am I having to be like on guard or whatever it is? Now, back in the day, it didn't matter because we had different set of belief systems back then. So nobody cared and we would just be friends with anyone and we would just have a big group of friends and it was like no big deal. And when I was younger, I did have those groups of friends. I did have large groups like inner circle and outer circle. I had many circles of friends. And then I've noticed as I've gotten older and I've gotten more serious, life is more serious. Everything I'm doing has more intentionality. I'm more educated and more wise about my decisions. I've become more selective. And so I myself have a smaller group of friends, but I'm finding out that we're not alone. I'm finding out this is becoming really, really common because it's not about quantity. It's about the quality of the relationship. And people are wanting more, relationships that are serving them and making them feel better. Like not having quote unquote toxic relationships, whatever that is. Right.
Right.
So that's my take on it.
While you're doing that, Riz was really bad on the chat.
Oh my God. What is he doing?
So he said that he is Riz's spirit guide.
Oh, he's messing everybody up
He's
right now.
messing everyone up. And I said, oh no, Riz. And then Buckshot Paul said Red Eagle or Phineas. And then he said Red Phineas.
Oh, no.
He's being so bad. So I said, Riz, you have to stop. And then he said, okay, I'll stop. Bye, everyone. I'm back to work now. And I said, yeah, Riz, go back to work.
Nice.
So that was the exchange that was happening.
Okay.
just so you know.
Thank you.
Let's see. But I liked your answer.
Right? Yeah. I mean, that's the feeling I get. What do you guys feel? Do you guys feel like that's similar? I want to show you my little, like, they're furry little cup holders. I got them in Texas.
Yeah. They're so cute.
Thank you.
Let's see where would I like to go next? Oh, okay. So Carla, Carla Vargas Fester, who I think she in Peru. She's in
Oh, she's in Peru.
Yes, she's in Peru.
The one we were trying to send pizza to.
Yeah. Sorry. She is a Pisces sun. Okay. A Libra rising and an Aries moon.
Oh my God.
So that's very similar combination.
So you're basically a party.
Yeah.
That is a lot of energy. Look, you could be very magnetizing. I can tell you one thing is you can magnetize that people.
Pisces Aries.
And
combo.
what was the
Libra rising?
So you can be either, in my opinion, you could be either super magnetizing and like you are the belle of the ball and you literally can rule the room and get whatever you want basically because the charm is unreal.
Yeah.
Or you could turn it into Maleficent. And actually become, I don't get what I want and therefore you must die.
Exactly.
I feel like that's what's going on here because there's so much emotion.
It's a lot of emotion.
It's a lot of power behind the beliefs and emotions for these three signs. That's my take.
Yeah, it's an intense combo. But yeah, also you could use with that Pisces intuition in the sun sign is really magical. So I would say, Carla, like when you're really tapped into your true self, you can give a lot of intuitive guidance for people because you wouldn't necessarily censor it. That Aries moon would propel you to share your downloads and your wisdom more. And sometimes Pisces kind of keep that more to themselves and get a little bit lost in there.
And the Aries kind of
pushes it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about the Libra and Pisces connection here that I have questions about is, I feel like they both are relationship oriented, but one, like the Pisces, in my take, feels like the Pisces tends to want to pull away when it's not exactly going the way they want, where a Libra will go towards.
Well, no, actually, Libras also will pull away.
I didn't know Libras can do that.
Definitely. Libras.
Really? Is that true for you guys?
Definitely do that. Libras. When they feel overwhelmed. And
so I did not know that. I thought that they stick it out to the bitter end and they'll fight to the bitter end.
Well, they may physically be present, but emotionally and mentally they're not. They go, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Okay. So they get that emotional I would say emotional overwhelm, probably the signs that get the most affected by that and tend to withdraw would be Libras. If you're Libra rising, even a little bit Libra moon, Libra sun sign for sure, Scorpio, anything in your big three, Scorpio.
Well, yeah, we know about Scorpio.
And also Pisces in your big three. Those are the three that tend to withdraw the most.
Okay.
A little bit of Aries too, but Earth signs though, we hang out.
Yeah.
We're the true.
Yeah.
We're the real ones.
We're the OGs. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I had to say
just kidding.
See, that's the problem with Earth signs when they start talking about themselves.
I mean,
it's really
the
bad.
Confidence is just
the
unreal.
Confidence is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Okay.
Okay, we're getting some more signs of people.
Nice.
So Paul is Aquarius, Gemini moon, and Cancer rising.
Okay. Aquarius sun.
Yeah. Aquarius sun.
Gemini moon.
Cancer rising.
I'm already scared right there with those two. Hold on. I'm just trying to breathe right now. Hold on. That's intense.
Yeah, that's a party.
Okay, we have to go slow. So Aquarius sun. Gemini moon.
Yes.
Okay, and then?
Cancer rising.
You're a crybaby. Oh my God. Paul's a crybaby. Yeah. Well, the Aquarian is not going to let him cry, though.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Right.
So the Aquarian is like, yo, I'm stoic and no one's getting to me. And then you have the Gemini who's like, but I have a lot to say.
Right.
And then
he's always so.
Yeah.
That's
and
so him on our chat. Of course he's a Gemini moon.
Yeah, big heart. Like you're just.
But he's always on the chat, like talking. That's so
the
Gemini moon.
The Gemini with the big heart.
Yeah.
And the stoic, but then there's emotion. So you have the whole combination of like you're stoic. So for me, Aquarians, which is really interesting because Erika, myself, and Riz all she still has her parents. Riz and I don't have our parents anymore. Aquarian parents. So Riz had an Aquarian dad. I had an Aquarian mom. Right. And she has an Aquarian dad.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my God. Yeah. We have a lot of information on the Aquarians.
Yeah. So, remember we found out my dad is actually a Pisces.
Wait.
But he's on the cusp. So he's like
told
literally
everybody he was an Aquarian.
The day it changes.
But he acts so Aquarian.
Really, he is. He
really
Aquarian.
does.
But still, I had to note that as an astrologer.
Okay, so the Aquarian is the one that is into the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Aquarian is like, it's otherworldly and strange. I'm in. Okay. And then you have the Gemini who's like, has a lot of opinions. Some of them, like you're not easily swayed. Your belief systems are pretty solid of how you feel. And then your Cancer is like, but wait, am I doing it right? But I don't know. Yeah. I'm trying to be a good kid. And that's the Cancer moon.
No, that's the Cancer rising.
Cancer rising. Yeah. I love my Cancer rising people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Cancer moons are even more emotional than Cancer rising.
Oh,
would
way
you
more.
Say?
Yeah. Cancer rising, because your rising sign, you become more, that's more your outward persona.
Okay.
And you become more like that as you mature. You step more into your rising sign.
So who has what sign has the most attitude out of this configuration? That's what I'd like to know.
Oh, the attitude is coming from the Gemini. The Gemini moon is where the attitude
Okay,
comes
so
from.
in terms of...
And we say that because we know Paul has a lot of comebacks on the chat.
Okay, so if there's attitude of these three signs, which one in order has the most attitude, second attitude, and third attitude?
Gemini, Cancer, and then Aquarius.
So Gemini has the most attitude.
Yes.
Then Cancer has
second
attitude.
most, and Aquarius
Has attitude.
a third. Aquarius doesn't have a lot of attitude. They're just kind of like over it and out.
So
like,
now he's trying to be a good boy.
fight.
So does he like not show his attitude, or is he always showing his attitude? Because the Gemini can't help themselves.
Yeah, you can't. In a Gemini,
so the Gemini is going to clap back.
Anytime there's an emotion, he has to say something.
Oh my God. So basically you're a handful, Paul. Okay. That's what we're alluding to. Okay. You're a handful and you have attitude, but you hold it in, but you're fun because the Cancer keeps you loosey goosey. That's where you have fun, right?
And that Cancer is where he cares a lot for other people too. Because Cancer, especially in the rising sign, they're very nurturing.
Yeah.
You know, they really want to take care of people and
right.
You
and
know,
it really shows.
That's the part of him that like always says hi to everybody. And by name and does that. That's the Cancer rising that does that. Yeah.
Is there any other?
He just said, "I got a new attitude."
Is there any other members?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have Nancy S.
Okay.
Is a Libra, Aquarius, Gemini.
Did I just crunch on the microphone really loud?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Sorry, not sorry.
But Nancy didn't say like what the Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, like what is the configuration? So Nancy, if you could tell us that. And her youngest son is also a Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, who looks and is me, LOL. Does that mean anything on a soul level?
Of course it does. Are you
question.
kidding me? Well, you know, I see I see a little bit of myself in all my kids. I have 5 kids, and I see a little bit of myself in each one. And then there's this karma that we have. Like some of the kids, like, let me see. 3 of the kids have karma with me, and 2 of the kids have karma with their father. So the 2 youngest ones, I don't have karma with. So I have an easygoing relationship with them, and it's totally free, like free of issues. The 3 oldest, oh my God, we're super in it. So there's a lot of like, what did you say? Why did you say that? What are you doing? Now, what's going on here, not only is it the karmic relationship, but it's also working stuff out. And it's also me having to see myself in them and seeing the good, the bad, the ugly, and like making peace with myself. And it's also for them, same thing. So all the judging that they've done over the years with their mom, they like have so many characteristics that are so similar to me that they're like some of their best qualities are like they take after me, and they have to like deal with that because when they're angry and they want to blame and they want to say like, I'm mad at my mom for doing that or being that way. But then I could show them where they're exactly the same like that. So there's something there for them in their personal growth and surrender and to let go of judgment from me. So it's this interesting dynamic, especially when you have a mom that's a shaman and also a life coach. It's a hands-on, hands-off approach that I have with my kids. The hands-on is just enough for them to be like, okay, that's enough. Like, I got it. Like, you're our mom and you don't need to keep telling me. And then, and reminding me in every single dimension. And then the other side of it is, but I want more of everything a mom gives, but I am not like that kind of mom because I'm like a different kind of mom. I'm like working. I do a lot of other stuff. I'm not like the traditional kind. And so then they deal with that. But at the same time, they're also coming to terms with the fact they're all independent. They're all very individualistic, and they think for themselves. They're very like, you know, they're out there on their own, doing their own thing. They're all adults now. So how does this relate to your question is that I just feel like this karma that mothers and children have, and they're similar, but it's also because you're working out a lot of stuff. And then if this child of yours is not, you don't have any issues with this person, that means that there is no karmic, you're not clearing any karma. This is just, you guys are here to like have fun, literally just enjoy your life together, which is like your best friend kind of thing.
I like that. And from an astrology perspective, when I have people, and it happens a lot actually in families, that you'll have something or a couple of things in your chart that someone else has. Yeah. It's like your moon is their sun and things like that. Right. And it's so that you can see a version of that, usually from a different lens. So for example, like Nancy, if you're the Aquarius sun, but your sun is the Aquarius moon, you're seeing... You mean you're like... yourself, but more emotional.
Your physical sun,
your actual child is an Aquarius moon. he's going to represent how he handles things emotionally is going to be very similar for you to see the Aquarius side of you. And kind of, it's a way to see yourself in usually a heightened form of like what you don't want to do and what you do want to do. And so you kind of have both of you are teachers to each other.
Big time. Like for me, I'm the Chiron is in Cancer. No, South Node is in Cancer. My North Node is in Capricorn. So I'm coming out of being very highly emotional, which was the first half of my life. Second half is more Capricorn, which is more organized, less emotional, and it's more like business oriented, but like I've always been business oriented, but like really business oriented. And then my North Node, my Chiron is in Aries. So I have an Aries sun, I have a Cancer daughter, and I also have a Capricorn daughter. So
and an Aries daughter too.
And an Aries daughter. So I have so many configurations that are exactly my own kids. So I literally not only visually can see that they're similar to me, I'm actually working out stuff within myself that carries the things about them that I admire and things I don't admire. And you have to remember, this is like one lifetime you're spending with your family, because how many lifetimes have you had where like I am certain, and I've already asked my kids and they agree that I was the baby of the family in the last lifetime. And then there was also relationships I have with some of my kids that were not so friendly. Like, I think we're like an enemy to me. And then like, now we're working it out in this lifetime as my daughter. So we're making amends and peace. Like you carry all of your past life stuff with you into this life. So you can clear all of this so you can make peace. So the whole goal at the end of the day with everything is having peace within yourself. That's what you're aiming for.
Right. And someone asked, how do you know if you have a karmic relationship with your children?
And give me a name too.
So that would be Paul.
Oh, what was his question?
How do you know if you have a karmic relationship with you? Because you were talking about some with you do and some you don't. So how do you really know?
Yeah. I mean, karmic relationships is like you take 2 steps forward, 10 steps back. It's like you make friends and then one thing goes wrong and an explosion, and then you got to start over again. And it's like you're constantly working out differences with yourself and your child, but at the same time you're also experiencing like you're having breakthroughs. And for the first time you're like, oh, this is why it's so hard, because I have to change. Like as a mother, I have to change. I have to take my hands off, or I have to be more trusting, or I have to be more loving, or I have to let go more, whatever it is. I'm always having to like figure out what's my karma with this child, if I'm having issues. So, if I don't have karma with my child, I don't have issues. So at all. So I literally have no issues with my 2 youngest, which is so funny because, the other siblings will be like, what are you talking about? They do everything wrong. Da, da, da. But I don't have the internal combustion and that fire and that desire to fight or be right or get to the bottom of things, or like who's going to be on top. There's no power struggles. It is literally just like, oh, cool. That's what you're doing. Yay. Oh my God. I love you. You're so cute. Like that.
So you feel like you don't get as much like pulled in to whatever it is they're going not what they're going through, but like you're triggered a lot less. Like you won't, it's easier for you to kind of,
I don't feel tagged in.
Pull your perspective back.
Yeah. I don't feel like it's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. The oldest 3, they make one microscopic move and I'm like, why are you doing that? What's going on? Why'd you do that? That like really hurt my feelings. I really feel that all the way.
It's very personal.
It's very personal. Very, very personal. That's so kind of how you know if it's like karma, because you feel like it's very much yours, that it's something here for you that you have to solve.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting question from Rogue, and it's a layered question. So I would say this will activate you talking about Tauruses, but also your intuitive empath side of it. So she said, my daughter is a Taurus. She hasn't spoken with me in 6 years. And I just wonder why she thinks I'm so horrible. Is it karma? Like,
okay. And what's her sign
going on? I don't know Rogue sign. She didn't say.
Did we ever talk to Rogue on a call?
I don't know if we've talked on a call, but we have talked to her.
We did on a call-in.
I'm not sure, but I mean, she's
remember,
been on our show
because we're like
times.
Rogue went rogue.
Oh, right.
We did talk to her.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. So the daughter's a Taurus.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, yes. The answer is if there's animosity of any kind or like a tension, that's always karma. So there's definitely something she's working out. Here's the good news and bad news about not talking to your kids for long periods of time. The bad news, obviously.
She's a Sagittarius, she said.
She's a Sag.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that explains it. Okay. So, well, first of all, let me just finish saying, so if your kids don't talk to you and you go for periods of time without talking to you, my first reaction is this is a long lifetime and there's many lifetimes. Take a deep breath and know that it's just time, but it's not anything to do with the eternal love that is within that you guys came to the planet to experience. So don't make this timeline so important that if they don't talk to you for a period of time, it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Many times people need space for different reasons. And it's space in this 3D lifetime, or it's space because they're processing something from many lifetimes with you. Now, also, they signed up for this, and you did too, as a possibility that this could happen. And it doesn't mean it's forever. Sometimes it's 20 years, and then you reconcile. And it's funny because I've reconciled with people after 20 years, and it was like nothing, no time has passed. It's like we just picked up where we left off. So we're just older. So the point is, like, a lot of people get really scared. They're like, oh my God, they're not talking to me. I've learned that this is a natural ebb and flow of life. And sometimes you need. Now, let's talk about Taurus for a second, because I'm a Taurus, May 8th. So Tauruses are notorious for isolating and getting in the cave and taking care of themselves and just being very like self-nurturing. So we're very, you don't have to teach us how to self-nurture. We're going to like do it regardless. So we just really like to do that. Plus we can lick our wounds when we're not advanced souls and feel really bad for like a conversation you had, or you feel like the person doesn't understand you and they go to protect themselves. Tauruses will do that and remove themselves from the situation. I have done that to a lot of people, and that's just because that's self-preservation for myself, because I am so sensitive that like it's too much. Now, being that you're a Sagittarian, from what I know about Sagittarians, and just for those of you who are just tuning in, I'm not an astrologer. Erika's an astrologer, and we're going to go over some more astrology things in a second. I'm just giving my take on my experience of working with people for so many decades, my own personal experiences, and what I know about how the signs configure with characteristics. So Sagittarians. So Sages, Tauruses love Sag on the onset at first. Sages come across very exciting and fun and like lights up a Taurus. And we're like, yes, bring it on, Sag. This is it. But then something happens to the Sag where it's like the Sag either gets mad or doesn't get the Sag's way in something, or something goes offline. Something goes off kilter with the Sag in some way, shape, or form because you're mad about something. And then you withdraw that Sag awesomeness that people love about Sag when they're in their glory, and you remove that, and then it's like the cold side of the moon. Like you are in the death zone. And then when you feel that kind of back and forth with the Sag personality, where a Sag can go dark or get silent and not be happy, what happens is the Taurus, who's very steady, needs comfort, needs consistency, needs to know they're okay, needs to see that all the time. What happens is they see that as unreliable, and they feel scared because that means they can't count on you because you're going to change your mind one day. Like one day you're the queen of the world and you're so happy and you're the top Sag of the planet. And then when you're not like that and you go dark, then it doesn't matter who's around you. You just like isolate, or just like you don't care like what's going on with other people, where a Cancer wouldn't necessarily do that. Cancers will grab onto whoever's near them and like pull them in too.
Yeah,
but a Sag tends to like,
that's the scholar. Yeah, like in the Sagittarius, like when they feel this need to go inward. Yeah. To study something. Right. Like, and it could be an internal shift that they're going through, but they like to go in and this is like a dated reference, but like their ivory tower, like they,
well, I like that
in their laboratory to like,
yeah, but I like that
out.
they get over things fast, where a Taurus will hang on to it. So a Taurus will sit there and just mull it over. Like, what did this person do? But a Sag will be like, what are you talking about? I'm over it. Let's move on. But the Taurus can't just move on like that, because Tauruses need a lot of closure.
They need a lot more explanation. And the Sagittarius is just like, they come to their conclusions and they're done.
Yeah.
But the Taurus, you know, struggles with that more.
Yeah. So that's a lot of what this is. And she probably just, it's a personality thing. And it's not so much that she doesn't love you as a mother. It just has a lot to do with just a personality thing. And it probably, if she's like me, a Sun Taurus, it hurts her probably more than it hurts you. So she's actually struggling with it more and upset. And it keeps the wounds closed by not being around you, because being around you might open those wounds again. So she has to feel stronger in herself, and she has to see maybe you've changed. Now, if you start reaching out to her in a different way, or you've completely changed, like in the sense of when you're around her, you're more steady in your emotions. And this is just, you know, I don't know the rest of your configuration. So, you know, you got your rising and your moon. So I don't know exactly. I'm just very general. But that's kind of an idea of giving you some more introspection on your relationship with your daughter.
Kathy says, wow, I'm a Taurus rising. And I think a Sagittarius sun sign. So no wonder I'd never talk to myself. That's really funny.
Oh my God. Funny. So she's running from herself while standing still.
You know, I find with earth signs across Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo, they all kind of hit a point sometimes where they hold on to things longer, I think, than other signs. Yeah, but all the earth signs. Yeah. Because we like to
build monuments.
Yes, we like pitch a tent and we're like, this is the truth. This is what
I will make an actual religion.
Yeah, like so it's really hard for earth signs to like move on from stuff because we're like, I just built.
Yeah, do you know what I have done to do this?
Yeah, like I created everything.
Do you
now
know
it's changing? What do you mean?
How dare you?
Like, now I have to build an entire new foundation.
Yeah, exactly. Were you going to tear down my foundation and start over?
Yeah, and that's very
death of a Taurus right there.
It's really hard. Virgos too.
Earth signs.
It's like, oh my God. And Capricorn. Really.
Yeah. By the way, props right now to all earth signs on the spiritual path.
Yeah.
I just want to say, for you guys to actually be flexible and let go, us earth signs, that's not in our actual configuration.
Yeah, flexibility is not.
It's the hardest thing in the world for us to just let it go and move on. So for us to learn it in the spiritual way is like very challenging.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of us because we fought the good fight.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
Okay, so Christine Marie is a Sagittarius as well, but she is a Cancer moon and a Cancer rising.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So she can be an actress.
Yeah, she probably could. Yeah.
So she could be in the public eye because she's she can't be alone. You can't be alone. Like, you really can't, right?
You
need an audience, right?
A people person, for sure.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, but she has to take breaks because you can get really overstimulated.
The Sagittarian needs to take the breaks.
And the Cancer moon and Cancer rising. Because she's also a big empath. That's a lot. She's absorbing a lot. So, but that would be a good actor or anything. She could be like a body worker or something because she can channel her emotions and the emotions of other people a lot. So if you're using it in your creativity, that is a powerhouse
thing. So for her, the most important thing for her, what I see, is that she has to have a very solid routine of self-care.
Yes.
Like being able to like unplug and really know when to shut it down and like take care of thyself.
Yes.
Because I feel like she could get very overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Those three signs are very overwhelming together in that order.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
That's a lot of passion, a lot of intensity.
She danced on American Bandstand for 2 years in the 80s.
Oh. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I would see dance would
Because
actually be incredible
perfect.
because
She
the
needs to stay
Sagittarius,
physical.
that fire energy
Right.
loves
But even to this day,
to move in the
she
body.
would have to still be physical.
Oh yeah, like you
have
need
to still move your
like,
body.
Are you dancing?
Yeah, you have
but
to move this
particular
energy out.
Creative and emotional physical expression.
Right.
Because that's where the Cancer.
Is anybody having like conversations with each other or saying things together?
No, they're all giving their
listening?
signs.
Oh, they're all giving their signs. They all want us to do
Yeah.
me, do me.
Yeah, it's a lot of like, my turn next for
I'm trying to get used to my
me.
super curly hair, you guys. Just
think
leave me
it's
alone.
fun.
I like to play with it. Everybody's like, why is she touching her hair so much?
Well, I've been touching mine nonstop.
It's because I curled
Yeah.
it and it's really poofy and I don't know what to do with it. It's like all messy.
We're having a lot of hair and stuff.
Hair
right now.
day today. Hair stuff.
It's fine.
Okay, who else?
All right.
is giving their sign?
So, Kathy Arnott
Yes.
has both her sun and her moon in Taurus with a Sagittarius rising.
Oh my
There's a
gosh.
theme tonight.
Wait. They're all attracted to the same thing. Isn't that interesting?
Isn't? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
heck?
so what's her configuration?
Virgo's
She's
at?
Sagittarius.
She's a sun
Sag-
and moon in Taurus with a Sag rising.
So
She said, does that mean I'm a hopeful bull?
doesn't that, because I'm Earth, Leo, Leo, I'm Taurus, Leo, Leo.
Yeah.
That's similar,
Kind of.
but she just
Yeah.
has a little bit less fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So let me take a guess.
Go
I
for
bet you are in some way, or shape, or form a teacher or a scholar of some kind. Like you
Yeah.
have to be, because doesn't that make sense that she'd have to be into like studying and learning? Because
the
the
Sag
Taurus
for
wants,
sure.
yeah, the Taurus wants to learn.
Mm-hmm.
The Sagittarian wants to teach.
But I would
Or be the
think
scholar.
probably very practical things.
Okay.
She'd want to learn a lot of like things that she can really use.
Right.
Where like a Sag sun sign
Yeah.
might be more philosophical
Uh-huh.
in what they're learning, but like the Taurus wants to always put it into
Action.
action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And build it.
She'd
So
probably be
to
really
be
good at
really
like
practical.
technical things too
Yeah.
as well. Like things that require like high level of detail and knowledge.
So you guys, listen up. You're not going to believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to do it.
What?
We can talk about your compatibility.
We can.
Yeah, who you're compatible with.
Well, I have to put a disclaimer on that.
Let's do a big disclaimer. Okay?
Hold on.
So we don't get like death threats.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
So with compatibility, my official statement as a professional astrologer is that every sign is compatible with every sign. There is no such thing as a Taurus can never be with a Leo, etc. That is just not accurate because it depends on where you are in your evolution as your sun sign. And it also, you have 2,700 other things happening in your astrology, and it's the mix of how they all play together.
Okay. So
That
you just took all the fun out, but okay.
Sorry, but I have to.
But I know.
I have to.
I know.
But there are fun things to know
Okay.
about if you are dating or in a relationship with a particular sign. They do have things in common and like what not to do and what to
Well,
do.
you guys, we played a game one time that I swore to Erica, I was like, we're going to do it on the show one day.
Yeah.
And I think I might do it.
Do
I'm
it.
a little scared because I don't know if like I'm rusty.
Okay.
But the game that we played was which in relationships, if she names a sign, I will say the one sign, was it that they could never be controlled by? Or was it the other way
Oh.
around? How did we do it?
Oh yeah.
Using
Who
the-
would be the most like controlling of the
Yeah.
of the
like
pair.
who's not afraid of the
Yeah.
other one? Because there's always like in a configuration. So, and this is a whole deep science, but it's like there's one sign. I'll give you an example. So Capricorns can be with Scorpios because Capricorns are not afraid of Scorpios, or like they don't get affected by Scorpios. Now Scorpios kill everybody, but they can't kill a Capricorn.
Yeah.
So in that sense, a Capricorn has the upper hand
Yeah.
in the sense that they're not easily controlled
Or spooked.
or spooked by
Yeah.
that sign. So that's the
Yeah.
game. So what we did was a rapid fire, and we went down
Yeah.
all the signs, and she shot them at me,
Okay.
each sign, and I say which is the sign
Okay.
that they can't control. Oh no,
Okay.
they can control.
Yeah, or who's in control?
Wait, But how did we
Who
pose
wins?
it? We
I
did
don't
it so
remember.
good. I can't remember how we posed it. Was that we posed it that
The
one that's, because it was like you said to me, okay, so you said, who can be with a Scorpio? That's how you did it.
Oh, who can
you said
be with
who
them
can be with a
without,
Scorpio
like, going
without
crazy.
yeah, that can
override them.
override
Yeah.
them. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, let's try that.
All right. So should I just
shoot them
throw
out at
some
me
out?
and see if I
Okay.
could do it again.
All right, let's see.
I was so tapped in that day. Let's see
okay,
if I can
see if we
still
can do
hold
it.
the.
Aquarius and Libra.
No, just do one sign at a time.
Well, but you have to know who.
Oh,
Isn't the point, like,
because I
they
was just
can-
gonna pick. Oh, yeah.
right.
Oh, that's right. You're correct.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, I got it under control. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, Aquarius and Libra.
Aquarius controls Libra
Why?
because they don't get sucked in to the storyline.
That's true.
Okay, do it.
It is
another
very
one.
hard to get an Aquarius to feel sorry for you. Okay. Cancer and Pisces.
Cancer wins. Cancer will rule over a Pisces because a Cancer will make fun of the Pisces who gets too serious and morose.
Oh.
Or a Cancer will be like, yo, they're not going to tolerate it.
Enough
Because
of that.
it's like the two queens of drama. But
so
the
true.
Cancer is literally going to
Oh,
override
God.
because they have more space to play with it.
Yeah.
Where Pisces will take it more seriously.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, so Gemini and Virgo.
Virgo wins. Because her mom's a Gemini and she's a Virgo. So Virgo wins because a Gemini has to be right no matter what to the ends of the earth and will rather like die and like probably just go to death to be right. But
Facts.
a Virgo will be like, you can have it. It's okay. Like I can be right too, but like
Yeah.
I'm not going to go that far with it.
True.
Like I'll just let you have it and then just go do something else.
But privately still think that they're right.
Correct. Just so you know.
Just so you know, I am right, but I'll let you have it.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Okay, do another
okay?
configuration.
Let's see.
Is anybody asking for
Yeah, I
configuration?
was gonna see. Someone said, and I don't have their name. That's like 1208 somewhere. It says, does Pisces rule over anyone really? LMAO.
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Hold on. That's a really good question. Let me see if I can scan real quick. Who can Pisces control? Oh my God.
Oh.
That's true.
Yeah.
I can't find anybody Pisces can control because nobody wants to go into the depths of their intensity as much as a Pisces does. So a Pisces wants to go all the way with things, like to the bottom of the earth, the center of the earth.
Pisces moon too in the moon.
But
sign
other
also.
people are like, I can't really go that far with it. Like I'll go like to a certain level, but like the rest is all you. So you are correct, actually. That was a good one.
Oh my God.
Okay.
That's funny. That's really funny.
Do a couple more.
Okay, so Nancy says she's a Libra and her husband is a Taurus.
You know, I've always wondered about that configuration. I've said to myself, like, that was an option, like, in my life. I was like, you know, I should try a Libra. You know, like, I should try one. Because I was like, you know, this is before I got married, right? And I was like, I should try Libra because I'm relationship oriented and Libras are relationship oriented. So I'm like, well, right there, I don't have to work hard at, like, making sure the relationship works.
Christine says this is a fun game.
But I don't know, like there was little things about the Libra that I was concerned about with my configuration because I have too much Leo. So my concern is I would control too much the relationship because the Taurus Leo with a Libra sun.
Yeah.
I would be like dominatrix.
Yeah, that's a lot of dominating.
Dominating. And I think it would be
really liked that.
Right. But I don't know. Unless you guys like that just wouldn't be fun for me personally.
Yeah.
But I would love to do another configuration.
Okay.
If anybody has questions about a configuration, I want to try it.
I got one. Bal says, I don't need my person's sign. Just send their name and phone number. That's cute. Well, you should do my relationship blueprint. I can help you out with that. Not the name and phone number, but
right,
what they are like as a person. Okay, so Shatanya says Leo and Capricorn.
I love that combination.
Yeah.
It's a fun combination.
Yeah.
I could watch these two all day, Leo and Capricorn. They really bounce off each other very well, but the Leo wins. Sorry.
Why?
Leos have flexibility where Capricorns get stuck in the mud and they'll like grind their wheels until like they get trapped in their own like game. And so Leos are like, because Leos can walk away from things. The one who gets to walk away first wins. But like, I swear, I really believe that's what it is, because the Leo tends to like, can go there, like really go there with a Capricorn. But where a Capricorn will be like, okay, I'm just going to stop here and be like determined and stuck here. A Leo would be like, I can give it up. I can move on from here. Like, I'm not attached. So that's where a Leo has a little bit more freedom, where I would say they would win that power struggle.
Okay. Let's see.
I like this game.
Oh, Amy says she's a Capricorn and her husband is a Leo, and they've been married for 35 years.
Oh,
yeah.
So I'm a
that's
Taurus.
That's
is a Leo. And we've been married 15 years.
Aww.
Yeah, it's a good combo. It's intense. Because the Leo rising Leo moon.
Yeah.
On my side.
You guys.
And he's Virgo rising Scorpio moon.
And again, this is why like your other signs are so important. But that all your Leo with Riz's Leo, you have an understanding of each other that I think really helps. We're
very calm in our intensity.
And playful.
We're very, very playful. Well, we have the Aries in Chiron, which...
Well, that's not really your playfulness.
I always thought it was.
No, because Chiron's your wound. So that's like...
Okay, I was wrong about that. Well, Erika should talk about Chiron for a minute so everybody knows what it is.
So Chiron is the wounded healer.
Okay.
And that's where you have, from an early age, it's either something that actually happened in your life or you just kind of came in this way, where it's a wound. It's something you always struggle with, but you're very passionate about. And it's a negative belief.
I know what mine is.
Carry, but there's a great strength to it that if you heal, you
guys want to know what it is?
Yeah. Go ahead.
They don't see me and understand me.
Yes. And it's broken down
into rejection, or I think I'm rejected, or whatever. Yeah.
And it's that Aries, it's Chiron and Aries. So the Aries is the individual who wants to be recognized as a leader. And yours is in the 9th house, which is for what you know, what you have to share.
I want to be known for what I know.
Right.
So therefore.
Right. And when you were little, people were always telling you don't know what you're talking about.
Because I was a kid.
Is not
even though I was like teacher's pet, smart kid in class, etc. But
right. But as the teacher, it's like for your own.
Yeah. I really saw it as I got to be a teenager and going into my 20s. I saw where I didn't have that.
That's
respect.
where it shows up. It's like it really starts to manifest in your teenage years, and you start to see like, wait, what? Something's off here. But then if you really work in this area and it's like you go into the eye of the storm, then it becomes your superpower, which is like now you're known for your wisdom and your teachings, and you are a teacher. So it comes full circle. And for a lot of people, there's a Chiron return, which is in your early 50s.
Did you guys know there was a Chiron return?
There is.
Just like a Saturn return, there's a Chiron return. People like, what's his name? Sal? No. The one that was saying to give the number, to the phone number to the girl. Ball. There's people like Ball who's like unaware of like astrology. He's just listening.
Yeah. Learning a lot today, Ball.
Right.
Okay. Oh, this is great. Shatanya said, I'm the Leo. My husband is a Capricorn. I don't back down from an argument.
Yeah. Yeah, there is no backing down for those two, but I will say that Leo gets tired first in the sense like it's not fun anymore. So like the Capricorn will stick it out or go hide or go into that seriousness, where a Leo would be like, okay, I want to do something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you do another configuration?
Yes, we can.
While we're waiting for more questions.
Let's see. Capricorn and Pisces.
Capricorn wins. Of course, because we have Pisces.
Right.
Okay.
Libra and Virgo.
Virgo.
Yeah, I agree. As a Virgo.
Yeah. There's no competition there.
Yeah, I can't with Libras.
Oh my God. Therefore, the relationship blueprint came to be.
Let's see. What else has someone asked? So there's a couple people asking about Aquariuses in general in relationship. There's a few. So there's like Aquarius and Capricorn, Aquarius and something else. So let's just talk about Aquariuses for a minute. There's like a way to do it with Aquarius. There's a way to not with an Aquarius and to.
Okay, Aquariuses are hard to deal with. Okay. Now, here's the good thing about it. Aquarians know this, which is a bonus. This is why they have friends, because they're willing to laugh at themselves and go, I know that I'm like this.
Right.
That's their best quality.
Right.
That's what we love about them,
Yeah.
is that they're open about it. Most Aquarians will be the first ones to tell you,
Yeah.
don't mind me. I just control my own universe and no one else is in it. And it's fine. But that's fine. Actually, that's why they're likable, is because they do have this self-reflection ability, and they can look at themselves because they're so not attached to so many things that are happening here in this 3D, so to speak. They want things very, and they have like passions that most humans have. But when it comes down to it, it's like, it's really their world. Their world is, they have no, they're not like apologizing for their world. No. Like, my world is better than your world, and it's okay. You guys are going to be fine. You can be friends with me, but I'm in my world. And then you can like negotiate with me however I want to negotiate to be your friend or family member, and I'll talk to you the way I want to talk to you. But the point that I'm making is that it doesn't seem like they get into somebody else's world. That's what I'm trying to say. So Aquarians don't tend to go, let me go into a Cancer's world. Let me see what it's like. Yeah. Let me see what it's like to go into a Capricorn's world. Let me go venture into their world and see what it's all about. They're, they're very sensitive, first of all. I mean, Aquarians are all very, very sensitive people, and highly intelligent. Most Aquarians are very intelligent. But there's like this lack of empathy. But here's the thing that's really funny. If you talk to an Aquarian about this area, number one, they understand what you're saying, but then they'll disagree with you because it doesn't seem very human. So they'll be like, well, that's not me. Like, I'm very like empathetic. I care a lot. I'm altruistic. I help humans. I'm very, it's the one sign that loves humanity, but doesn't love humans, or
the
what
individual.
Is it? The individual.
So Aquarian's perspective is so pulled back.
It's so pulled back.
They're very altruistic.
Very altruistic.
And oftentimes very giving. But they have a really hard time getting down into the tiny details of like one individual's person's
because
needs.
They're so pulled back.
Yeah.
So if you're their like child,
for example,
they will get into your world to the degree of like, gosh, I'm so shiny. I'm looking at like, I'm just sweating away here. So they'll get into like your world to a certain degree and be the most caring person and do things for you that no one else will ever do for you. Your Aquarian person will be that one person that goes on and beyond. And like, you're like, oh my God, this person's a saint. But then comes a time when you want something from them in a way that you need it. And they're like, nah, I'm good. I can't do that.
Yeah. It's like
they don't have that remorse of like.
Their authenticity to themselves comes first.
Yes. That's a good way of saying it.
So they're really, what I love about them is I find them to be very helpful in like an example of being true to yourself.
Yes. They are true to themselves to a fault.
For everyone.
Right.
Else.
It's to a fault. But they, you know what I love is that a lot of times they have a sense of humor about it.
But they do.
And that sense of humor is so charming.
Yeah.
That's what people are drawn to Aquarians to begin with.
Yeah.
Is there's a charm to them.
Yeah.
That they like. I've never seen an Aquarian that really can't draw a crowd or draw people to them. Like most Aquarians can really draw people to them. Because they're funny and they're smart and they have things to say. It's just, it's when it comes down to the nitty gritty, those little details of like, you need them to drop in with you in a loving, connected, intimate way, but like where you feel really seen and heard all the way by the other person. The Aquarian is like, I
can only do so
I'll
much.
just only go like so far.
Yeah, it is. I think that's that. Yeah.
So with my mom being an Aquarian, what it was like for me, for all of you Aquarian parents, what your kids are probably experiencing is for me, and I've asked other people, okay, so it's not just me, but, your configuration matters also, your rising and your moon. But if you're strong, heavily, intoxicated,
what?
Aquarian, intoxicated with yourself.
Which, by the way, Aquarians can be quite prone to intoxication because they get very overstimulated.
You start to feel that you have a parent, but not really, but not like they're very involved. Like they're there, they're there physically, like they're there, they're committed. But there's this feeling of like, there's a distance, like you're over there and I'm over here. We're like, I don't know. I don't have that with other relationships.
No,
I feel very connected to other signs.
Yeah.
Where I can get in there with them. And we're like, we're in this together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't. They're always coming from like, yes, like that's a good idea. You go ahead and do that. That sounds fun for you.
Yeah. You know what? I've noticed like, cause I've dated a few Aquarians and on the one side, they were some of the most fun people to be in relationship with. And I have things in my relationship blueprint that vibe well with an Aquarian. And I loved how playful they are, how unique, expressive, like that authenticity.
I mean, they're one of my favorite people.
Non-judgmental.
I know it doesn't sound like it, but
it's really fun. Like, and they always let me really be me.
Yeah.
And I always felt
judgment.
like I could be like my full rainbow unicorn sparkle self.
Right.
And there was a lot of space for that.
Right.
But the one thing I did notice was like, I cannot change them like whatsoever. No. So whatever was like, if there was something I really couldn't be with, they were like, well, you have to decide if you're going to be with this. Yeah. Because if you can't, like, this is not changing. Yeah. Like, there's no flexibility.
Yeah. Like, my mom actually told me that she was tired of being my mom. Yeah. At one point. Yeah. She was like, I think I'm good. Yeah. She was like, you can cut the umbilical cord now, quote unquote. I was like, okay, Mom. Yeah. I mean, I am a Taurus, so you have to kind of tell me, so it's fine.
Right. Right. Oh, man, that's funny. Okay, so someone said, Jonathan Hagos, I tried an Aquarius sun and moon 7th houser. Yeah, if you have Aquarius in the 7th house, that means in your relationships, and especially, you're going to have all these tendencies and qualities and be very, very unique as well. Okay, so let's see. Jasmine says, am I going through... actually, Jasmine, if you could rephrase your question. Sorry, it's a little hard to understand. Bal said, so Libra, basically everyone trumps Libra. Like everyone.
Everyone trumps Libra?
Is there anyone that Libra would
be the trumps? Let me think about this.
Yeah, that's a
Let me think. Hold on.
Maybe.
Wait, I think I have something.
Okay,
I don't want you to influence me.
Okay, I'm not. No, say it. I'm curious what you're going to say.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I think in relationship, a Libra probably can trump a Taurus. Because see, Tauruses are still the toddler of the zodiac. We're still the young, like the toddlers. If you guys know about that, right? Like the child being the Aries, the Pisces being the graduate. Okay, so the Pisces technically has all the signs in one sign. It's like one of the hardest signs to sign up for as a soul. Yeah. But a Libra can control a Taurus because a Taurus wants to commit and wants to be in a relationship, but they're very wild natured inside, like stubborn. So they have a hard time to like isolate and to get focused and like really lock into something like that unless they have maturity. So I feel like if a Libra comes in with like bells and whistles and keeps things going really fresh and clean and wonderful for the Taurus will learn how to do this. It really is like a Taurus needs to be told over and over, you're good, you're good, it's all good, everything's fine, you're in a loving relationship, love you, kisses, hugs, we're good.
Yeah.
Let me hold your hand, we're good. like Tauruses need a lot of reassurance, and it's not because of lack of confidence. It really is when it comes to intimacy. It's like Tauruses are so needy and wanting all the time. Like we always want it, but then we don't know how to do it right. Like we're so immature about it because we're kids, like we're young at heart. And so we give a lot of love in a really big way, but then the other person's like overwhelmed, or like we want a lot of attention right away. And the other person's like, yeah, but I can't give it to you right now. Or, you know, but a Libra would be able to hold that energy, like, and be a great sponge for that and to hold a Taurus energy, you know, the Taurus. The only thing that can go wrong here is I think a Taurus can walk over a Libra, where a Libra tries too hard and a Taurus is going to be like, they feel in control. But technically the Libra can control the Taurus. If they show, here's the secret. Right. If you show enough love, which shouldn't be hard for a Libra, if you show enough love to a Taurus and let them know that they're safe and sound and secure and full of like toys, they will be putty in your hand. Truly.
Yeah.
And a Libra can do it.
Yeah. I like that answer.
Yeah. See?
I like it.
So.
Okay, what about a Taurus and a Virgo?
Me and you?
Well, no, I mean in a relationship though. It's different than friendship.
I think a Virgo will win over a Taurus because the Virgo will fight harder to be right, and a Taurus would rather walk away and go eat something because they're just like, really, I can't do this anymore. Oh my God. Like, oh my God, it keeps going. And a Virgo is like, I'm not finished. Yeah. I will continue until I am done and finish you off until your brain is fried.
It's true.
And a Taurus is like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I have to go do something.
But you know what though? The Taurus's ability to like go do something like that will drive the Virgo insane. And then the Taurus does kind of win. Yeah. Because
we walk away?
Because they walk away, and the Virgo
from that perspective,
there is nothing that a Virgo hates more
than a walk-awayer.
Oh no. That's a cardinal sin. Yeah. That is like, if you want to just destroy a Virgo,
from that perspective,
opt out of the discussion, and they'll be thinking about that.
You're right. So I take that back. From that perspective.
Why'd you walk away from? Why'd you walk away?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
Well, yeah, I know that I could just let her have it if we're talking about me and you, because we went from relationship to like me and you right away, because it's like, so sometimes I'll just let her have it. I'll just like, okay, just go be right.
Yeah, but then I know she let me have it.
Just go.
And then
just go be right.
I'm not
just go do your Virgo thing. Like, it's okay.
And I don't like when she does that. Then I'm like, no, you tricked me.
You're going to pay.
I'm like, I'm going to get you back for that later.
So, I love that this is an astrology show tonight. And also, if you guys have questions about empathy, empathic questions from your own empathic experiences of being an empath.
Yes.
You can ask these questions also. In future shows, you never know which way it's going to go. Like if we're going to have more empathic questions or astrology questions. But I love this conversation because this is stuff that we talk about all the time.
Regularly.
Just at the coffee shop. We're having these conversations. Oh my gosh. Is there any other questions or?
Well, yeah, I do have, this is more of a slightly empathic question, actually. So Shatanya said that on her drive home this morning, the top of her head had this amazingly intense tingling. Was that the crown chakra activating? Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah. So this is kind of deep, and this is really kind of an exercise for all of you guys that want to practice your sensitivity training. So the more sensitive you are, the more you will feel. There's a catch-22 to this, because the more you feel, you can also go into panic, because you start to feel everything, including every process that's happening in your body, including your skin, your nervous system. Like, you're super, super aware. And that can kind of go haywire if you don't like control yourself. It can go a little too intense. So it's good to find a balance. So strike a balance. So be very sensitive enough to feel the different processes like she's feeling in the crown chakra, but also know that, like, keep it in perspective. So as far as your crown chakra, when you start feeling that, it's because the way you're processing information and where you're coming from internally and how you see things are coming from a new place within your being. And so there's no such thing as, like, you can't isolate the mind. You have the brain, which is meat. You take it out of the body and you see it looks like meat. But if you look at the mind, it's more ethereal. So you can't really see the mind. So as you're processing and coming, as you're processing information and you're feeling life, you're coming from different perspectives. So like different stages. So for instance, before you're awakened, you're using your cerebral mind. So everything is just 1 + 1 = 2. You use your logical thinking. You use your right brain, left brain. You use your analytical mind. You use your artistic mind. And so you kind of like play in that arena. And that's just what you're used to. And you always do it that way. You see everybody do it that way. That's how most people are. And then there's little variations of that, but that's the majority. But then when you go through the awakening process, what happens is you start coming from a different place within your mind. So you're looking at life from a different perspective. So it's using different areas and different aspects of your actual brain. So when, like Riz, when he channels and he has those, they've plugged him into those diodes and he's had those machines that show the brain scan, the brain waves. They've shown that he's using a completely different side of the brain when he channels. It's almost like he's going into REM. It's like part of the sleep cycle of the brain. So, but he's awake. So imagine you can meditate to that degree, you can channel to that degree where you're actually using a different part of your brain. So as you go through the awakening process, you start stimulating new areas within yourself, and that starts to activate the higher consciousness. And that higher consciousness tends to be at the top of the head. And that seems to be where the energy kind of flows, where energy goes, where your focus is. So you start to like feel more connected. And then when you start to get more experience in your energy fields and you start doing a lot of meditative work, you start activating the Kundalini energy, which goes all the way down to your root chakra. And that goes down into your sacrum, and then you go into the earth. So it kind of becomes like you're like a cycle. It goes through the earth and through you, just like plants, just like animals. So we're all connected to Gaia. All of us are connected. So that's what you're feeling. You are feeling your crown chakra. And what it feels like this tingling, numbing feeling up here. It's very distinct. There's no pain. It's not a migraine. And, the one thing you have to medically look out for is the crown chakra buzzing comes and goes. If there's something medically wrong or you have an issue, it stays forever or it keeps going. And then you have to have that looked at. And also when you're in menopause, your nervous system changes. And so you can also have different vibrations and different like stimulants and different nervous, like your nerves are much more sensitive in different areas. So sometimes I'll get like a sore spot right here on the side of my head for no reason. I looked it up and it was like, yeah, that happens during menopause. So, but the crown chakra up here, it's right in this area right here.
She says it's happening again now.
As you focus on this area right here, you'll feel that stimulation. It's kind of like right here. Then there's another spot right here. And they call that the third eye, but that's where your pituitary glands are. And this is where a lot of other glandular support, your hormones and everything. Like there's a lot of action happening in your frontal cortex. So when you have your third eye opening, it's really because you are activating your other senses and you're pushing through. Like when I used to want to call in my guides to have them speak to me, I would feel this area burning right here or buzzing. And sometimes I don't feel that anymore now. I feel them kind of off to my side on my shoulder, like they're talking. I could feel them next to me, but I used to feel that. And sometimes I still do get the buzzing at the top of my head, but definitely in the early stages or like the first few years, I guess. Yeah.
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 Nice.
Yeah.
That was a lot of information.
Sorry.
No, in a good way. I meant that good. I didn't mean it like that. Jasmine says, through my own empathic experiences, I have felt too much of other people's emotions. How do I center myself when I go through that so I'm not taking on their stuff?
I had to readjust for that one. That is actually, I think that's probably the most common question that empaths have is how do I separate? So ask the second part of the question again.
How do I center myself when I go through that so I'm not taking on their stuff? Try not to crunch into the microphone.
For me, being a Taurus, which I need a lot of like information, it's harder in some ways when you're a Taurus. I don't know what your sign is. It really depends on your sign too. But for me, what works is that I have to remind myself that I have my own life going on. I have my own projects and my own things, and I can be empathic towards somebody else, but not take on their things. And so I have to tell myself, I have to actually verbally tell myself, okay, so it's time for you to go focus on that thing that you said you were going to do. Like you have to go grocery shopping, so go grocery shopping or whatever it is that you need to focus on. And you have to learn to start to compartmentalize these things. Yeah. And you're going to have to start saying this person needs to go through this because this is their soul path. This is what they need to experience. And then you honor and respect their decision or their choices or whatever they're going through. And you can make, you can help them to whatever degree, but it's very important if you're an empath to not take it on for yourself. Like it's yours, because in the early days, I remember when I started first becoming a shaman and a life coach, I used to throw up. Remember? And sometimes I would throw up, and then sometimes it would just be like dry heaving. Yeah. But I would feel, and it still happens like once a year. It just happened recently. Oh, really? Well, you know about it, but I'm not going to say the person's name. Okay. But I feel like nauseous, and I just felt like it's almost like I pulled this energy, or like I was feeling what this person was feeling, and I started to feel nauseous, and I felt like this dark cloud, and I started to feel this heavy energy, but I knew it wasn't me. And so because I don't do this very often, and when it does show up, it's kind of like shocking. And so I remember reaching out to you, and I was like, you have to talk me out of this. Yeah. And you're like, it's not yours. It's not yours. So sometimes when it happens to you, you need to have it's really good to have a buddy. It's good to have a friend who reminds you it's not yours. The key to this thing is not to be isolationist. Like, do not isolate and go feel sorry for yourself or feel bad or be by yourself. That's the worst thing you can do. Right.
Oh, Jasmine's an Aquarius. So that message of not isolating is really important for an Aquarius.
Yeah. So Aquarians, you can take it to the grave on this one. Like you start to feel so bad and you'll feel other people's stuff so much that you'll just go be by yourself to try to process it away. And it's not going to work. Yeah. You actually need people. You need to have at least one or two people, one person that you can count on, that person is going to definitely walk you through hey, that's not your stuff. That's their stuff. Like you need to recenter and remember who you are. Yeah. Yeah. It's a practice. You have to learn. It's a muscle. You have to learn how to do that. Yeah. Otherwise you guys are going to just get roughed up and be torn apart by other people's emotions. That's their path. That's what they have to experience, and let them go through their experience.
Yeah. I find that for myself, like when I'm doing a lot of readings and things, I have to do a lot of things physically to not hold on to it. Yeah. That's big for me. Like I need to lay down on the floor or wash my hands under cool water. Like, it's a lot of physical stuff for me. Go for a walk. Like, that seems to, and maybe that's the Cancer moon in me, or combined with like the Virgo who just reviews things a lot and stores information. But if I put it into some kind of physical grounding exercise, that clears a lot of that for me.
Yeah.
Because I used to get really messed up after, like, I would do a lot of readings for like an event or something. I didn't know what was going on. I had a really hard time recognizing like how much I was taking.
Well, you know, something that if you bring in gratitude, like also for you as well, and you probably have done that. If you bring in gratitude to any of this, gratitude separates you from the experience that you're having with someone, and like, absolutely. And what are you grateful for? You can just be grateful for yourself, like your own experience. You don't have to be grateful for anything else. Just the fact that you have the ability to choose what you want to feel. You can be grateful for your life. You can be grateful that you're not in that situation. You can be grateful that you've done the homework on yourself and you've done your own spiritual work, and that you're okay. And you can be grateful you're in a position of being a healer or healing others, so that you can make a difference in somebody's life. So it's there's a lot of gratitude.
Right. And I'll never forget too, I think it's Red Eagle that says this, that for empaths, you can also decide to tune in more to people's joy.
Yes, we always tend to. That's right. I'm glad you remember that. That's a really good message from Red Eagle. Yeah, he's always like, being an empath, everybody always is talking about the negative.
Right. Which is easy to do, but it's like...
But you can be empathic to their positiveness too, and how people feel positive and good.
Like, I can hear a little sound of like...
Yeah, we always tend to go negative, don't we?
Playing outside.
Yeah.
So like, I could tune into the joy of the sound of the kids playing right now, as much as maybe someone who walks by that's in a bad mood.
Yeah.
So
how long have we been on?
We have been on for about
40 minutes.
No, it's been like over an hour. It's almost 8 o'clock.
So we've been going on for over an hour?
Yeah.
Nice. And so it's like 1:20, an hour 20?
I think so. Okay. Yeah. I can't see
So if there's not any more questions, like, we
just had one fun question, which I thought was really cool that somebody asked this.
Okay.
They wanted a homework assignment. Yeah, that's why I saved it, because I thought you'd like this. And I wrote it down. I forget who asked the question. Sorry. But they wanted to know, can they get a homework assignment to do from this full moon to the next full moon? So the full moon in Sagittarius to the full moon in Capricorn.
I'm just tuning into this person. I feel this person needs to learn how to walk with purpose and grace, and learn how to separate what's theirs and others, and maintain composure, and learn how to be steady as you go. And so from here to there, learn how to take each moment in stride, and learn how to take each moment and each day by day, and not to rush through things, and not to be overwhelmed, but to learn how to be self-sufficient. And it's almost like baby steps, like starting over, like be very connected to your purpose. Like, why are you here? And what is it that you want to experience? And make sure that every single decision you make feels good to you, that you're doing it because you want to do it, you need to do it, and you're going to do it. And it's for your edification, it's for your joy, and you feel empowered by that. So you're training your brain, and other people can take on this homework assignment too. Yeah. But you're training your brain how to be empathic to yourself. You're training your brain how to be self-reflective and look at what your needs are. You're training yourself to look after yourself. You're training yourself how to be kind to yourself. And yes, kind to others, but to learn how to be kind to yourself first is paramount. And so for you to learn how to walk in a straight line, so it's like this organized, self-sufficient, detailed, purposeful, blissful, peaceful, happy existence is what you want to aim for. And you're learning how to do that. And it's a step-by-step kind of instructions that you actually have to teach yourself. It's actually not some pie in the sky illusion that you can have a life like that. You actually can live this life by being organized, gentle to yourself, with yourself, fulfill your own needs, fulfill your own desires, learn how to do that peacefully, relax, take your time, move through spaces, in and out of situations and in and out of spaces with grace. Be gentle with yourself while you're doing that. And you will find that inner peace, that inner dialogue is going to change, because you'll see that you're giving to yourself in a way that you've never have given to yourself before. And you're going to appreciate that. And that's going to be it's like a homecoming. You're going to feel good about yourself, and you're going to feel like you're alive and you're awake and you're connected and you're plugged in, and you're going to feel alert, and you're going to be grateful that you took the time to understand yourself. And you're going to feel like, I really did it. I really am taking care of myself. I really am putting one foot in front of the other. I'm not making anything wrong. I really am learning how to be myself and to be who I came here to be. And there's a gentleness to that, and there's a beauty to that, and there's a grace to that. And there's so much gratitude to be had when you give to yourself at that level. And that, to me, is the end all be all homework assignment of all homework assignments. And I think it's on and beyond just what this person is going through. It's whoever is listening that this resonates for can try this on.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're doing it in a 30-day increment. I recommend that, because it's not like you're biting off more than you can chew. You're taking on a reasonable amount of time that you can practice something that you can really see results within 30 minutes. 30 days, eventually 30 minutes. But in 30 days time, you can really see marked results. You can really see yourself improving. You're really going to like yourself more. You're really going to feel better about yourself, and you're going to have more grace and more gratitude. And then after that 30 days, you're going to go, well, I need to do this again. And then you're going to do it again. Yeah. So that was
really nice.
Is that a good ending spot for everybody? Did I put everybody to sleep? Because I know in the back east right now, people are probably zoning out. They're nodding
Everyone's
out.
saying like they so enjoyed this, and thank you so much for the encouragement and the information and how fun this was.
Oh, I'm glad you guys liked it. We definitely want to do this again, and we will definitely do this again.
We'll be back.
We have a new configuration, so I have to actually get up in order to turn off the live. So I will say goodbye and good night, and we will see you later, right?
Yeah.
When are we going to do this again? Maybe next week?
Yeah, probably next week. I think so.
All right. See y'all later. Love you guys.
Bye.
Night. Bye.